This is real for me. I need this. This is a therapy for me.
Before we dive in, a quick but important note. We are not licensed mental health professionals or medical experts. The conversations that we have on this podcast are based on our personal experiences, thoughts, and opinions. Nothing shared here is intended to be taken as medical advice, a diagnosis, or a substitute for professional help. If you are struggling or need support, please reach out to a qualified mental health provider or medical professional. It's been hard to get the motivation to do this episode, but I figured the best time to do an episode like this is when we're both kind of struggling with it.
Yeah.
This is definitely going to be a little bit of a different episode. No guests or anything. The last time we did a solo episode is your bipolar. And we still have my solo episode to do based off of my stuff. But I figured because this is such a prominent thing for us and something that can affect so many different parts of our life, including, as we see right now, we're going to talk a little bit about our depression. And the reason I feel like right now is probably the best time to talk about this is because usually when people talk about depression and stuff, they have to kind of reminisce back to when they were depressed, talk about back when they were in that hole. And sometimes it's hard to really get across how it feels, what's going through your head. And it kind of blew my mind, the fact that there are people that don't have depression at all.
I know. How is that even possible?
I know. Which, I mean, it sounds dark saying that, but it's true. I mean, even like I have a buddy of mine who I consider like my brother, but he doesn't struggle with depression.
Yeah, or anything? Like
Not
he's just
really.
normal?
Yeah, he's just normal.
Wow.
And it kind of blew my mind because he was asking me one day, he's like, can you describe to me depression?
Oh my God.
And I've realized like I've struggled with depression for so long. I don't really have like, it's so hard to define or hard to describe and hard to really kind of put it into those words. Because he was like, isn't it just like sadness? I'm like, no.
it's like so heaviness.
Yeah.
I think.
And that was like a tough thing.
Wow.
But when I was kind of talking to him, he was having me kind of describe it and define it. And I really kind of had to think about it. And a lot of times now, when I'm dealing with depression, it's not necessarily the sadness that I have to pay attention to.
Right.
It's the symptoms that I have to pay attention to. It's how is my life different right now? What's being affected? What's like it's something almost externally that I have to catch of like what is going on with me? Something is off. And then I kind of am able to realize it's the depression.
Yeah.
And it's hard to like put a lot of mine can be linked to a certain cause sometimes. I know for you, it's I don't know if it is 100% linked to your bipolar or if it's just an external thing on top of your bipolar.
Right.
But one of the other names for bipolar is bipolar depressive disorder.
Yeah, it is.
Because like mania isn't something that's always associated with it. Typically it is like the bouts of depression that hit. And obviously we've done a couple episodes now on bipolar. So, but unfortunately one of the things is depression. I don't have bipolar, at least not that I'm aware of at this moment.
Not yet. Just kidding.
Yeah. But the depression is something that I have struggled with for a very long time. And it is one of the most popular things that I see around. And whether you want to blame the economy, blame politics, blame the world, whatever it is, there are so many factors that I feel like play into it. But it's also one of those things that I still don't think it has the direct awareness that it needs to have, especially for those who struggle with severe bouts of depression. And like, and I'm not talking about just like there is the big differences with sadness versus depression versus whatever. I'm talking those bouts of depression. And the reason why I'm talking a lot more on this. This was my idea to do this episode.
Last second.
Yeah. But it was because like
we were talking about it.
Yeah, there's a lot, at least for me, there's a lot of stuff. And obviously this is a podcast based off of mental health and based off of creating awareness around some of these issues that we're having. And what better source than two people that are currently going through one of the things.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the whole thing for today. I think I can kind of link my depression, at least this way. I go through different waves of depression personally. And like I said, usually they can be triggered. Not all the time. Sometimes it just happens. But this one specifically, so I went to a music festival for the first time in my entire life. I've been to different concerts and stuff, but I recently just went to a music festival and it was amazing. It was super fun. I had an absolute blast. But one of the things that I didn't really take into account is the stress that it can put on your body, especially when you're not prepared for something like that.
That's true.
And it's not to say that like it's bad to go to something like that or that not to go if you do struggle with mental illness. It's to be prepared.
Yeah.
Especially for afterwards. It's like they call. I've been told that there's something called like the Olympic gold medal syndrome.
Really?
Which is where like usually a lot of Olympians that like win a gold medal have the worst depression right afterwards because you go through such a high that your brain and your body is trying to get back to baseline, but then it goes below baseline. So you end up having that. And I feel like that's kind of a contributing factor along with just like, so I went, and those who don't really know the life of music festivals, it's a constant party pretty much. Yeah. Especially like a multi-day festival. You don't really have a break. Obviously it depends on who you go with and who you are.
You barely sleep.
Yeah. And when you do sleep, it's not like blissful sleep. Like I think I got maybe like 2 hours of quality sleep the entire week.
Right.
Like I slept more, but it was like not, we were in an RV that we had to be careful with the amount of energy consumption, so we couldn't like blast AC all night. And obviously, like it's not my bed, so I'm already a sensitive sleeper, so that was already one thing. But it's also like the alcohol consumption, which you don't have to consume alcohol and stuff, but it's kind of hard not to consume stuff when everyone around you is. Yeah. So that's one thing. And then plus like the mess up of your schedule. I was used to going to bed maybe latest like 2 a.m. I don't think there was a single night that I went to bed past or earlier than like 4 or 5 a.m.
Yeah, you were texting me like 5 a.m.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm awake.
But like that was such a difference in my sleep schedule because I'm used to like going to sleep around 12 to 2 and then waking up between 7 and 8 and having that be like my constant schedule. And so having that be a difference along with like that high of having those extremely euphoric nights and like just a blast and then just coming back down to earth. Yeah. On top of being a business owner, the fluctuation and stuff. I was showing you a video earlier of the reality of actually being a business owner and the reason why for some people it's not
easy.
It's not a good thing.
Yeah.
Some people can handle it, but other people can't. And I had to really kind of check myself in that way with being a business owner, with the fact that like we had a good gig that paid us a little bit beforehand. I thought I was set for a little bit. I wasn't worrying about anything, but I came back and no matter how prepared you think you are beforehand, there's still always something that you're missing. So I came back and I was like, shit. I'm like missing all these things. I feel like and that was contributing to the depression because at that point then I'm also feeling like I'm failing all of my clients and failing all the people around me because I'm like, oh shit, this is due today. This is due today. Yeah. I need to do this still. Is this going to be as high quality now? So there's like that's kind of feeding into it. And then I started having people cancel so for those who don't know, like on the side of this, like obviously we don't get paid for this yet. Yeah. This is not a paid thing just yet. my day job on the side of this is being a videographer and owning a production company. You pretty much do a very similar thing. You're a cinematographer on the side that does camera operating and stuff. That's kind of your day job. Mine is in the film industry, so sometimes it's acting gigs, other times it's videography gigs, other times it's whatever. And it's something that I launched recently. It's not something I've had for a very long time. And I got lucky. I picked up a few good clients that were paying pretty decent amounts. So I was able to get away from my previous day job, which was driving, doing things like Amazon Flex, Uber Eats, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And so I got to a point where I was in my own high with that. I was able to stop driving for a few weeks. I was able to do what I love doing, which is be behind a camera, be in my creative element, and doing that for work. I didn't have to drive for work anymore. I was able to do this thing that I have been waiting for so long to be able to call that my full-time work. And it was, yes, there in every job that you do, there's going to be highs and lows. There's going to be goods and bads. And obviously, yes, there were some annoying times and stuff. But overall, I felt like I was in a fucking dream. I was like, holy shit. But there was always a point that I was kind of thinking in the back of my head, how long is this going to last?
Right.
And I fucking hate that. I couldn't be present.
Yeah.
And that's one of my issues. I couldn't be present in that moment of just enjoying it. It was always that creeping thought of like, how long is this going to last?
Right.
But still, I tried to just like live it out. I'm like, oh yeah, like these guys are going to want constant stuff. I have like, maybe this is my breakthrough. Maybe this is my breaking point. Come back to the music festival. Everything kind of starts slipping a little bit. The depression starts getting bad again because I'm like, well, shit, I really don't want to have to fucking go back to driving. But now my video work isn't really taking off that much. So I have both of those things. And on top of that, like, I've been single for now technically 2 years. Like, not in an official relationship for like 2.5 years. That's already like fucking what the fuck to me. I'm not used to that.
Yeah.
I'm used to being in one relationship after another.
Yeah, me too.
But lately it's been hitting in a different way. I have been stopping myself from getting into that because with my dating history, I've noticed that I haven't been like I'm still having the attraction to the toxicity that I've had before, which is what led to the ending of relationships. That and just my own immaturity, my own toxicity that I've had to work through myself. But I've had big reality checks of like certain women that I'll talk to or certain women that I'll want to go for. I stop myself from going with them because I've come to like this realization for myself that like in order to have a queen level person or a king level person, you need to be at that level too, or else you're just going to drag them down. And it's not fair on them for you to drag them down because of that.
Yeah.
I can't look at myself right now and call myself a king.
And
I see that woman who's a queen and I want to be with them. And I imagine how fun life would be. And I see on social media all these people having all this blissful fun with their partners and stuff. But I know that's not me right now. But I'm a love addict.
I know.
I'm addicted to love.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to that feeling of having a partner, that feeling of thinking someone outside of yourself and just having that partnership. And so it's been a hard thing with like coming to that realization of I'm not in the position I need to be with the kind of person I want to be with.
Yeah.
But that doesn't take away the feeling of wanting to be with that person, you know?
Yeah.
And it fucking sucks. It hurts.
It
Because I'll see someone, I'm like, I would love to be with you, but I know I'm not right for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It fucking hurts to say that.
It does.
But that's also why, like, that gets into its own dilemmas of like, do I just go for separation and solitude? And
that's hard. I can't do that.
yeah.
Yeah. Which is why I'm depressed, honestly.
Well, and like, I know that I've been talking a lot, but I know for you, and we don't have to go into like all the little details and stuff for you, but I know that like you've been going through your own depression too, which I just go into like the whys first. Like, I don't know if you have a certain thing right now of what's triggering this depression, or if it's just a generalized bipolar thing.
I have no idea, and that's probably part of the problem too, is because it just comes on. But most of the time, it's like I've done a manic thing. Like I don't necessarily have to be in a manic episode to do something stupid. And you can call it a manic episode or whatever, but like I make stupid decisions and then I feel awful about it afterwards. And like it just happens like every single day. And like one of the other reasons is like I get so much attention from guys and like people in the industry that want help, and like everyone needs something from me all the time. And I'm like such a people pleaser that I like can't go without trying to help every single person, you know, and like reading every message from every guy like every day. And sometimes like there's quite a bit of people that like talk massive shit to me all the time. Like I can't do anything right. And it comes out of nowhere. Like I'll just be like living life and I haven't done anything like to anybody, and all of a sudden I'll get 3 messages of people being like, your podcast like isn't like, it's fucked up, and like they're talking shit. Yeah, and it happens like randomly. So like I'm opening a message from like a friend of mine and they're like, you suck, you know. And I get that from my family sometimes too, and it's like I can't ever predict it. Like it comes from different people all the time. So it just like ruins my day. Like it happened this morning to the point of like I was shaking because it was like so awful what they said to me. And so that's really hard to navigate because I want to be there for people, you know. And like even honestly, since we launched this podcast, I'm so appreciative that everyone like feels like open to speak about their problems to me, because they like want to be on the podcast. But I get like DMs and texts and stuff all the time of like their entire life traumas. And like, especially when we first launched it, like, again, I'm so grateful that they feel safe talking to me about it and like wanting to come on the podcast. But like, there was like 40 people that messaged me their entire life's traumas, and it really affected me. Like,
well, that's a lot. That's the energy that you're taking in. That's, I mean, it's not just like a "Hey, how are you" message.
No,
like, it's to be able to take on that kind of burden.
Yeah,
is a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot, and it really affected me because I'm an empath too.
Yeah.
And like I want to be there for them. That's the whole point of this podcast too. And like I want to know their stories.
Right.
But I've kind of like wanted to like post a video saying like, if you want to be on the podcast, just like tell me what your mental health issue is, but you don't have to tell me like all the horrific events that's happened to you in great detail, because I want to save it for the podcast, you know?
Right.
And so like literally it made me break down, and I was depressed for weeks because of it. Cause like,
really?
Yeah, because
you didn't tell me about it.
No, I didn't. And I wanted to post the video, but I also didn't want to be rude.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to like turn people off to telling me things. And it's died down a little bit, but I get random texts of like, hey, like I have bipolar 2. Can we like meet up and talk about it? And it's like, of course I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
But it's also like, I already have issues showing up for things.
Yeah.
And so like, because I know it's going to be a heavy topic, I probably will like ghost them a few times, you know, and then I feel bad that I can't show up for them. And then it's just a revolving door of like, and it comes from so many random people, like even people that I haven't talked to in like 12 years are coming to me right now, which is also really heavy and kind of cool, you know, because they're watching the podcast and it's kind of fun. But it's also like, holy crap, it's taking me back to when I was like friends with them actually, and like all the horrible things that happened to me when I was friends with them too. And then of course, my dating life is awful. We kind of talked about it on the Sloth's podcast, but it's just like people are mean mostly, and they ghost all the time. Like I literally got, I wouldn't say ghosted yesterday, but I literally went on a date with somebody and within like 10 minutes he left.
Bro.
And literally
The audacity,
dude,
to invite you out,
yeah,
to go on a date, and then just, because this is like you didn't show up and like come with, I don't know, whatever bullshit. It was just like you came there for a casual date. Hey, how are you? Type
literally
of thing.
It wasn't even enough time for me to say something stupid like to cause him to be mad to leave. Like I literally like got there, like hugged him, said hi, and then we ordered drinks, and then he was like, I'll be right back, and then he never came back. And I waited for like 5 minutes because I kind of had a thought that he was like gonna do something like that.
Did you see him like walk out the front door?
Yeah, he said he was gonna go to his car.
Oh,
because and so I was like, okay, that's a little weird, obviously.
Yeah.
And so I waited for 5 minutes, and then I just had a feeling to check like my social media where we were communicating, and he blocked me. So
I just want to know what was going on in his brain that he was just like, because my thing, especially in the dating thing, has been communication.
Yeah, me too.
And it's not to say like it's like communication itself pisses me off, because the amount of people that I talk to, they're like, oh, I love communication. I'm like, but do you know what proper communication looks like? Do you know what it actually it's not just talking. It's not just like, oh, I love communication and then tell me everything type of stuff.
Right.
I feel like it's more on how you absorb, how you react, and how you listen rather than what you say.
Right.
And
100%.
like in that kind of instance, like, yes, it might have hurt you in that moment if he was like, hey, I'm not interested in you, like whatever.
He literally talked to me for like weeks to get me to go out. So like what could, like literally I was like saying no over and over and over again. And he was like begging me to come out.
It could have been like a revenge thing?
Oh, 100%. I think it was evil as fuck. It was intentional.
It was like he was planning on like, she's ghosted me or she said no so many times. I'm going to show her that she doesn't mean shit. So
literally. So honestly, like I can't get it through my head like why anybody would do that.
Yeah.
You know, like just tell me you don't fucking want to be here. I don't care. You know, I'd rather honesty and stuff. But like it was definitely malicious. It was definitely because I could feel it. I'm an empath. Like I can feel people across the world when they're sending me energy.
Yeah.
So like when I saw that he blocked me, I was like, that was definitely intentional. And like that's never happened to me before in my life. I'm not really someone, well, this is my ego talking, but I'm not really someone that you just leave like that.
Yeah.
And especially when you've been like begging me to come out.
Yeah.
Like that's so weird to me. So it just made me feel obviously awful and like not important enough to like even say bye to or anything. Like I had to pay for his drink.
What did you order?
I didn't even know. I didn't even pay attention. I didn't even drink mine. I just left. I paid for it and then I left.
The waitress is probably like, what the fuck?
Oh, so like, I don't even think anyone noticed. Like, I just paid for it in cash and left, you know?
Oh my God.
Yeah. So that was annoying. And then, I just like, after that, I like went to a guy's house and like shouldn't have, you know? And I don't know. It just doesn't, it made me feel even more like shit because obviously I shouldn't have done that. And I keep doing that to myself over and over and over again. And like I talk to people all the time and like I get a new crush and then I like them for a little bit and then they say something awful to me because it's either like about like they want to be together and I can't be together right now and like, or honestly again like they want to get married like right now, and then once I say obviously not, they're like, oh, well, you're going to be a bad wife anyways because you're never going to be in
that's just their
town.
fucking ego and pride shit.
I know, but it still hurts my feelings because it's like you knew that ahead of time. Like when I start talking to someone, I'm like, I work a lot. When I grow, I'm going to be gone on movies a lot. And I tell them the whole spiel, which you guys told me not to. But like, I don't want to waste my time because if I do, then they figure it out later and then they'd say the same shit to me as everyone else does. And I'd rather just get it over with. But it's like with how many people I talk to and how many times it happens, it's just like wearing me down like really bad. And I should stop, but I can't because I like the attention.
See, that's the thing is like a lot of people don't realize attention is a drug.
It is.
Like it releases so many chemicals in the brain that like obviously it can be overwhelming and it can turn good and bad and stuff. Like a certain amount of attention, like that's literally why like fame is something that so many people strive for.
Yeah.
Because people we biologically want to be included. We biologically want to be loved.
Yeah.
We want to be liked. We want people to look at us with that admiration, you know? And
honestly, that sucks too. Like I'm not like a big celebrity, but like I am really well known in Arizona.
Yeah.
Just because I like put myself like in front of everyone all the time, and I'm like helping with organizations that are the big organizations in film out here. And I'm like the face of some things, you know, and so everyone kind of knows who I am.
Yeah.
And so like we just had a huge like red carpet event and like over 420 people came. And like honestly, I think that like 80% of them came up to me and like talked to me and said like they're grateful for everything that I'm doing for everyone, and like it was really sweet. And like I loved it, you know. I loved the attention. I love that everyone has noticed.
Well, everyone loves it. Attention.
Yeah. I love that everyone noticed the things that I'm doing.
Yeah.
You know, because most of the time I'm out here by myself. Like I don't have help. I'm doing everything alone. You know, and it's just nice to like see that people see that. You know, and then afterwards, after the event, I crashed. Like it was like so much attention, and like I was obviously happy to hear all those things, but then to get that much energy, I like then felt horrible, which didn't make any sense to me.
Well, it makes perfect sense to me, because with stuff like that, like attention, it's I obviously this is weird to say, but it's a stimulant. It's something that like the more you get, the more you want in that moment. It's okay, give me all this attention, like especially if you're someone that hasn't grown up with that, like it's kind of a newer thing. And it obviously affects everyone in different ways. Some people are really good about it. Other people are like, I don't want attention or anything like that. It just depends on that kind of person. But like for someone like you like it. You like to be loved. You're addicted to that feeling of wanting to be accepted, loved, and appreciated. That's your love language. You love appreciation and stuff. But the thing is, with all stimulants, it affects the brain the way a stimulant would probably. Yeah. And obviously, like, I know we didn't say it in the beginning, I'm not a doctor or anything, so I can't diagnose anything. But the way that I've learned about like dopamine and serotonin and those neurochemicals that affect like happiness and motivation and all that kind of stuff, we thought about it first in the wrong way, and then there were studies and stuff that were made, and it's like a wave pool, to where usually as high as you go up is as low as you go down. So it's not you go up and then you just go back to base level and then you're fine. that's why like stimulants and stuff are addictive.
Yeah.
Cocaine, methamphetamines, nicotine, all those things that are considered stimulants, they increase the dopamine, but when you're coming off of it, your brain has already tried producing enough stuff like cortisol to combat the dopamine, and it makes it go below that base level.
Right.
And you're no longer at where you were before, you're way below. So now there's a compensation to at least try to even get back to it. So there's a constant battle and a constant fighting of trying to get yourself back up to normal. But obviously, like, that's why people go, when they're going through addiction, it's so hard, because like they're down there and then they take in so much more. They're not at base level anymore, they're back above base level, but then so it's a constant going back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
So you have to keep doing it because you feel awful.
Or you have to figure out a way, like, obviously our bodies are a master of balance. And so eventually it'll start progressing its way back to that baseline naturally. But you'd have to go through that withdrawal and that timing of going from below base level to then naturally letting your body produce the chemicals that it needs to go back to base level.
Right.
Which, that's the part that people don't like.
But at that point, like, isn't the like drugs or whatever they're dealing with like killing the chemicals that they need to grow?
Well, yeah. Well, that's the thing, is like your body grows like almost an immunity to it.
Yeah.
It's not it like I don't know all of the science behind it, but I do know that like that's why you can start with one thing, and if you've gone below base level and stuff, you need even more to get back up. It's not usually the same amount to get back to where you were before.
Yeah.
Because you're not starting at base level. You're starting below base level.
Right. That makes it worse.
And so now you have to have that much more to do it, and then there's obviously probably a bit of immunity to whatever it is. The neurochemicals are seeing this and they're like, oh, we already know what this is. So, and there's a familiarity going on. Like that's what my theory and stuff based off of what I've learned is.
Doing more, you have to then spend more money, and then you're more broke than you were. And then like the people that get really bad, like start selling everything that they own and stealing from their family and stealing from their friends, and then like losing their house, and then they become homeless and stuff. Like it gets really bad for a lot of people. And
I mean, when people think of addiction, there's so many different forms of it. Some people are addicted to amphetamines. Some people are addicted to stimulants, cocaine, nicotine.
Sugar.
Yes, sugar, caffeine.
Yeah.
I have my own vices with my own types of addiction, and like I grew up with being exposed to sexual stuff from an early age. And so things like, and it's hard to talk about, but I know this is one of the most prominent things. So I'm just going to out myself, because I know that other people are going to hear this and be like, wow, okay. Pornography. Oh my God. That is a huge addiction. That, like, for the longest time, I didn't want to admit to the addiction to porn, but I'm sorry, like, it's such an easy fix. You go, within 20 minutes, you have your high. Within 20 minutes, all those endorphins are being released, the dopamine, this feeling, like, it's insane.
I feel like that's a safer problem to have, though. Like, you're not hurting anybody or yourself in a way.
Yes and no.
It's a waste of time.
But there has been studies of neurological damage from things like that. The fact that, like, your now regular sex life. I've seen the effect that it's had on sex life for me. The fact that, like,
because you're like numb to it. Or something.
Like you're numb to it. You're expecting a certain thing at like the amount of thing. Like, I've even been with women that are trying to replicate a porn video, and I'm trying to tell them, like, this is a staged thing. The
I've
pleasure
heard that
you're seeing on there isn't actually pleasure a lot of the times. It's a simulated type of thing.
I've heard that from a lot of guys, that girls try to like remake a lot of porn videos and they suck at it and they like hate it. So girls, just don't do that, please. Like, I've heard it from a bunch of guys that they hate it when you do that.
Well, and it's between that and biologically speaking, we're not supposed to have the access to that kind of stuff that we have. You're not supposed to be able to just pull up your phone and type in a website and then see naked women.
Yeah.
That's not biologically how our brains are
Right.
meant to operate. We're meant to meet a person, talk to them, build a connection, and then procreate. It's not meant to be the way we have it. So it's like an overstimulation and this like confusion of your brain of like from what I've learned about it, your brain doesn't know the difference between what you're seeing on your phone versus what you're experiencing in real life.
Right.
So you almost gain this weird attraction to your phone in a way, or to the content on your phone that you would to a regular human being. And so there's like this whole other thing that's happening.
Interesting.
Which I don't know all the science behind porn and stuff, but I do know that like there is supposed to be like I feel like with porn it creates too much of an ease and access to that kind of activity too. At least with a person, you have, I don't want to say it like I don't want to say what's the word I'm trying to think of? Like difficulty trying to get it. But it's not like you could just like, obviously like if you're married and sometimes you have a relationship to where like, oh yeah, we want to have sex, cool, boom. But a lot of times, especially if it's a new person, you can't just come up to them and boom. Like there's work that you have to put in. There's effort. There's this type of extra energy instead of just within 3 seconds, boom, 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 type, boom, naked person.
Right.
You know? So I feel like that's the same thing with like a runner's high versus doing coke or something.
Right.
With a runner's high, you have to run for like there's extra effort that you have to put in versus coke, you just boom.
Right.
You know?
Well, for me, I think that porn helps men not rape women.
Really?
Yeah. Honestly, because like they're getting their fix from watching porn instead of like there's a lot of guys out there that are really fucking weird. And I don't care like what they're watching, you know, but they're not out like all angry that they're not getting women and like they might attack them.
I'm going to say the opposite.
I don't know.
Because of the fact that like...
Because they want what they see.
Well, like, obviously I don't really know any rapists. I wouldn't keep a person like that around. But I'm sure they watch porn. I'm sure are it's a drug, so it's one of those stimulant things of like the more you do it, the more you want it type of thing. Most of the people that like I know of that don't really watch porn and stuff because they're not constantly exposing themselves to that kind of thing, and because it's not something that's constantly in their face, their brain like it's not a factor of them trying to chase something because they're just trying to get the fix because they don't have the initial fix in the first place.
Okay.
Like I feel like it's more of a once you have it, you want more type of thing. Like for me, when I've gone on my bouts of not watching porn entirely, like my libido seemed to decrease entirely.
Okay.
Like I wasn't like, if I met someone, we had that connection, obviously I'd be attracted, but it was mostly in the bouts of really constantly watching porn that my libido was higher and I was constantly trying to find something, and I was constantly like reaching out to women to try to do this because I had this little fix and my brain's constantly like, okay, we need more. So it's kind of like almost a feeding the high type of thing.
Right.
So
didn't Pornhub just get shut down or something?
I think so.
Is it like forever shut down or what happened?
Know. I don't know what the full law thing is on it, but from what
maybe it'll help the world. I don't know.
Yeah. I think honestly it will kind of help just because of now, like it's a tough thing to take away, but it is one of those things that like it's something that's less like people are gonna be pissed at first.
Tumblr took it away like a few years ago, and like that's where I would watch it. Yeah, I literally don't watch porn at all.
Really?
Yeah, but I'm still like hypersexual as fuck. Like I don't need porn.
But that's also based off of your bipolar and stuff and your own psychology.
Yeah,
it's not to say like everyone that watches porn is hypersexual. It's based off of your own
I mean, I get enough attention from guys. I could literally call like 20 people right now.
Yeah.
Like,
Which that's one of the funny
more
things
than that.
is like how much easier it is for a woman to get laid than it is for a guy. But
I literally they would drive here right now.
oh yeah.
Like,
Oh, the shit that men would do for pussy that wants them.
mm-hmm.
I've done some questionable stuff for it myself. I can't say that I'm clean from that either.
Yeah.
But even like porn is a big one, or just sex in general is a big one for me. Caffeine is a big one for me. Sugar. If you told me to go without caffeine and sugar, I don't think I would survive.
Oh no, I need sugar all the time.
Yeah.
Like I would hate myself. Like
yeah.
I don't care if it causes cancer or whatever. I'm gonna die earlier than everyone anyways, because bipolar has a 10 to 12 year less of a lifespan. And then I also work in the film industry, which that's also like a 10 to 12 year less of a lifespan.
Yeah.
So add 20 years to my life that I'm not going to have. Obviously that's not for everyone, but I'm going to eat some goddamn sugar. You know what I mean? Like
another one that it's hard for me to admit, this motherfucker right here.
Dude. Yeah.
I know this is a big thing for you too,
Oh my
but
God.
like social media.
I could not put it down.
I check my phone even when I know that there's nothing on there. Even when I know I have no notifications.
Literally? Let's see how many notifications I have.
Oh God, I'm scared.
Okay, that's not that many.
That's quite a bit.
Yeah, that I mean, usually like I always have something.
I mean, what's the first thing you do when you wake up?
I definitely check
phone.
my phone, yeah, but I check my emails first
Oh well,
because I made that a rule.
yeah, but still, like that's a big addiction. But it's still like all these things that we're doing that are constantly causing a stimuli reaction
And makes us depressed.
Yes.
Like sugar itself, you know?
Oh yeah.
And all of our addictions, like it doesn't help us at all, you know?
Yeah.
Like caffeine keeps us awake and stuff because I'm drinking coffee at like 5 p.m., you know?
I know.
Like I can't not do that, but I'm a night owl anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But I literally like don't go to sleep till like 9 a.m. Like a lot of times. Yeah. Unless I have a job, then like if it's an early job, I'll just stay awake all night just so I don't sleep through it. And I have a huge sleep problem, like, and that's part of bipolar too, actually. Because our minds just race all the time, and like, I'm a night owl, so like I'd rather sleep during the day. So I do, and sometimes like I literally won't sleep for 2 to 3 days. Like I didn't sleep last night.
Really?
Yeah, but the day before I slept for 27 hours. Literally.
Which it's those kinds of things also that affect the mentality and the neurobiology so much more than we even know. Mm-hmm. It disrupts hormone release. It disrupts metabolism. It disrupts so much.
100%. Like I don't want to eat ever.
Yeah.
And I've actually lost 20 pounds from not eating. Which is awful. Yeah, but luckily I have like a bunch of fat on me, so like it's just eating the fat away. But obviously it's not healthy at all. I was happy about it, but no, like I'm eating right now, which is nice.
Yeah, no, I'm proud of you for that.
I think I ate like one pretzel bite yesterday.
God.
Because I don't care about myself. Like, why should I eat?
Because
why should I drink water?
Why do you not care about yourself?
Well, that's the like, I don't know, like contrast of my life is like I love myself.
Yeah.
I love what I do. I love what I do for people. I'm a good person, you know. But and I know all these things, but I just really, when it comes to like self-care and like eating and drinking water and sleeping, I just don't care for some reason, you know? I don't know what the cause of it is. And mainly because like I want to do so much in my life, and like again, like so many people want something from me all the time, and I like fail them over and over again. And sometimes I'm in a good manic episode and I'm doing productive things and I get everything done and I send everything to everyone that needs help, you know? But when I don't show up to people's things and like just aren't there for people, like it makes me feel awful, you know? And so then again, I just sit there and like I can't do anything right ever, especially when people are constantly coming out of nowhere saying how shitty I am as a person and like everything I'm trying to do is like a waste of time and I should stop doing the podcast because I'm never gonna make it. And it's like
Well, you
I'm
know
not
why
even
they're saying that shit, right?
yeah, because they're jealous and like they know
Exactly.
it's gonna be good. Like I have literally been through this for over a decade of, and I know this on the inside, like people, anything I do, people have something negative to say and they come straight at me with it. But I know, like literally people used to say like that I was doing projects like that nobody cared about and like who do I think I am?
Mm-hmm.
And then they would hire all of my crew and take all my locations and do basically the same thing. So I learned that really young in the industry, you know, but again, like there's so many stories about me out in the film industry that I'm like a bitch and I'm crazy and like don't talk to me and whatever. I don't even know all the stories that have been made up about me, but it's pretty wild all the different like the telephone situation where like even like my roommate told me that he met someone that is in our department in the industry and he told him a bunch of stories about me and I was like,
Really?
I've never met him.
Really?
Yeah. So he heard it from someone else who heard it from someone else who probably heard it from someone else.
Well, I mean, Arizona is already a small community.
Yeah.
And you're a big person in a small community. There's going to be shit that's said because jealousy and envy are such big things. Like,
yeah.
I can't say that I haven't, like, the amount of people that I have envy for and jealousy towards,
Yeah.
obviously, I'm not mean enough to reach out to them and say that they're pieces of shit.
Yeah.
But in my head, like, I've literally gone and refused to watch something
Yeah.
or refused to quote unquote support something
Yeah.
because envy and stuff starts like there's
Yeah.
even like TikTokers and stuff. There's like one guy who's like blowing up right now that his music is amazing. Like I can't sit here and be like, oh well his music is shit and all this. Like I'm like it's actually really good, but because like he's one of those influencers that got famous off of TikTok and was doing all that, there's like that part of me that says the why not me factor. And it makes it to where like it's hard for me, like, and I hate that I can't support them. I want to be that, like, that feeling of envy is a big trigger to my depression.
Yeah.
Especially like I'll be on Instagram or Facebook or just any social media platform and see someone around my age and how successful they are.
Yeah.
And even if like I'm really good friends with them, even if I know they support me, and this is what fucking destroys me.
Yeah.
I feel nothing but like envy and stuff because like I grew up like the way I grew up the underdog. I grew up the smallest. I grew up the little brother. I grew up the one that's not chosen. And so I had to almost put myself in competition with everyone around me. Like the amount of times that like a girl would be somewhat interested in me, but then meet my friend or meet my brother or meet someone and then be like, I found a kind of shiny object, but then I found a shinier object after that I get passed up. It instilled this like immediate competition drive in me of like, I have to prove myself now.
Yeah, right.
And it's always fed into it with everyone else. Like I'll see in the acting industry all these other actors that are doing all this crazy shit, and I'm like, I want to be happy for them. Yeah. But the first thing that comes to mind is like, well, why couldn't I get that opportunity? Did I see that casting call? Like, I hope I just didn't see the casting call, and if I didn't, well, then like, why didn't I see the casting call? Yeah. Why, like, these people know that I'm an actor, so why are they not hiring me for stuff?
Or, well, at that point, have you reached out to them and said you want to collab?
I've reached out to a few of them, but I feel like there's also an energy that people can feel when it's a disingenuine reach out. And that's what I don't want to feed into the stigma or just that feeling of reaching out to someone in an inauthentic way?
Well, I think because I get hit up all the time, like every day.
Yeah.
And like I never think that it's disingenuine.
Yeah.
Because people just they see that I'm doing cool things and they want to be a part of it. So I don't think that they would take it that way either. It's just like a situation of like, you want to get in with the people that are doing cool stuff.
Yeah.
And you're just like asking them if you can join next time, you know? And like, how will they ever call you if you're not talking to them?
I mean, I do reach out a good amount of times.
Yeah. But have you ever said like, can I come next time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know. Well, that's the thing is like people hit me up all the time to like get on my sets, and like I'm on a lot of sets that I can't just bring people onto.
Right.
And it's been like years of people like constantly hitting me back up again that I can't help them. Like I can't help every single person. And so there's like lucky ones that I do click with right away and they do show up, and like then I kind of stick with them. But that's just the industry. Like you do work with your friends. Like you have to trust them and you have to like just be happy, you know, and like constantly having strangers come like is difficult to reteach people how I work and like, you know, take in a whole new personality.
I guess I grew up an approval junkie.
Yeah.
I love the approval from people.
Mm-hmm.
And that's also a big addiction for me.
Yeah.
I grew up with that whole thing of like, I envy those people who you talk to anybody else, there's not a single person that could say anything bad about them.
I wish.
There's like
Good
those
luck.
people that everyone seems to love, and I've always wanted to be that like popular guy that like everyone loves and all that kind of stuff.
I think this podcast is changing things a little bit because like at the red carpet event, everyone was like, you and Alex's podcast, and I was like, these people, like I didn't know that you knew Alex, you know, and it's really cool that they recognized you too. Like they didn't just talk about me doing it. It's just like,
which there's part of me that wishes I was there to enjoy it, but the other part of me is like, that would have been so dangerous for me to like, because I know that I can get like an ego and stuff. Like that is one of the things I do pride myself in is I can see where the pride and ego are. Yeah. And I can let go of it. Mm-hmm. But it's still like an addiction. I mean, especially from somebody who hasn't experienced that, but has wanted to experience something like that. Like I didn't grow up the popular jock in high school or the one that all the women were swooning over or that was chosen for all this. Yeah. And so when you start to get that, it's like a whole different world and you're like, oh shit. Right. Okay. I mean, for you, I don't think I've really asked too much. Like, what was your past with that? Like, were you the popular one? Like, did you grow up already having a lot of that kind of attention? I did, yeah. So I was like a weird kid where I was like in the smart classes, like every school I went to. So I was like with all the nerds, but all the like I was cool too. So I was friends with all the jocks and stuff as well, and all the popular girls and everything. Like I would like secretly go to the movies with all the cheerleaders and stuff, like you know, and like nobody knew about it because I wouldn't hang out with them at school, but I would hang out with them after school. Interesting. Yeah, it was really interesting, and I've always been the one that like has multiple friend groups, so I just like bounced around and everyone loved me, and like I was on varsity, like I was in like Battle of the Books, like second champ of being a champion of when I was younger, you know? Yeah. So like I was really smart and I would like win championships and shit all the time. Like I won all the time, like literally everything. And that's why when I started in the film industry, everyone was talking shit to me because they're like, oh, you have it so good. Like, you act a certain way. And I was just like, honestly, I didn't even know that people like suffered so much. I was so young. Yeah. It was like my first time like being told that I should feel bad for my childhood being so good.
you know? And so I was like, oh, you know, I didn't realize that you guys hate me because I'm
This is
acting.
where the envy comes from.
Yeah. I mean, I was just acting normally for myself, but like to them, they're like, you don't even know like what you have.
So you were probably the person I would have hated growing up.
100%.
I mean, it's, well, I don't want to say
actually,
hated.
no, because like everyone loved me. Like I was raised to not flaunt anything. Like I was always, again, like one that would go to every friend group, and like I've done like so many people's online classes and shit. Like I was that smart kid that they would pay me to do their classes for them. Yeah.
I feel like, well, I would have hated you because of the acceptance that you had,
but it was weird because it was secret. I like wouldn't hang out with them at school. I don't know how to explain it really.
No,
it was really interesting. Yeah.
I get you.
But
that was kind of how I was a little bit.
Yeah.
Like I grew up in a small town, so everyone knew everyone. So like the jocks and the popular people, they knew of me.
Yeah.
We didn't really hang out, but like we all knew of each other. But that just wasn't my circle.
Yeah. When I got in the film industry, people told me like 7 years later that they hated me the whole time because I had done camera operating for 5 years prior to joining the film industry. And I started as a production assistant at the very bottom, like intern level, just out of respect and stuff, just to get in. And then I just knew to like kind of hound all the camera people in a respectful way of like, hey, I'm in camera, get me in camera. And they like loved me. And so they would get me as a camera PA instead. So I would make a little bit more money. And like all the other PAs were trying to get in camera too, but there was only one position for camera PA available. And then I went to second AC and first AC and then back to camera operator. And literally 7 years later, a bunch of people came to me and they're like, you got all the jobs. And like I didn't even realize it because my envy was like seeing them on other jobs, and I was like, why am I not on that job?
Yeah.
But I didn't even realize that was their one job they got, and I had like a million. You know,
it's so crazy to think about the chain of envy that happens. Like people don't realize the people that they envy are envying someone above them, and then it's constantly like. Yeah. There's always somebody above you that you're looking at and stuff. Yeah. Like, it doesn't matter how high at the top you are.
Right.
There's always a bigger fish. There's always someone that's like, you wish you could be more like, or there's someone that is getting the jobs that you want. It's such a vicious cycle and a vicious thing.
For me, because I've won so much in my life, which sounds egotistical as fuck, and I'm sorry, but it's just facts.
Yeah.
I don't have that issue. I'm not necessarily envious of anyone, especially now.
I'm envious of that.
Yeah, I bet. But it's just like, I know that there's a bunch of people in Arizona that I know don't like me. Yeah. But I still will repost their stuff to get attention for their businesses and things. Because I do that on my stories of like, I just want to help everyone in Arizona, even if you don't like me. And I'm not like that. I'm not going to be petty and be like, oh, you don't like me, so I'm not going to support you. Because, like, I don't hate them, you know? And it just sucks to be, like I was saying before, like, have these stories that all these people that don't even know me have made a decision not to get to know me at all and like find out that I'm not this evil person or whatever. I don't even know the stories, but I just know that they're out there. And people like tell me sometimes, like I'll work with people and they ask me not to tag them so that they could save their reputation.
Really?
Yeah, literally.
I mean, in those kind of instances, and it's like, okay, you have your own pride on stuff. Like, for me, in a situation like that, I'm like, I haven't had any issues with this person.
Yeah,
obviously, like, it's one thing if, like, they're convicted of something diabolical type of thing.
Yeah.
But if it's just a he said, she said thing, then if I have people like, oh, you worked with this person, so I'm not going to work with you, I'm like, I'm sorry, they didn't do any, like, I'm sorry you had a bad experience with them. I don't know what the situation looked like.
Right.
And I have had to do some stuff like that. And I mean, I'll be honest, like even on some stuff, like I would say 90% of the people that I work with that know you are in love with you. They are like, oh my God, I love Kayla. She's so
Yeah.
amazing, blah, blah, blah. There is like here and there that's like, oh, really? Well, she just ghosts people or she just doesn't respond. And
Yeah.
for me, I tell them like, I'm sorry. I don't know how you reached out to her. There's
Yeah.
a certain way, like, how did you reach out? Was it
Yeah.
a way that's too repetitive? Because
Right.
I honestly will leave people on red if it's something that I can't really respond to.
Right.
If it's like just a no emotion type of thing, if it's like a K or yeah or something like that, I'm like, I'm not gonna fucking respond to that.
Yeah, no, I'll answer that question for them. Most of the time, it's like you asked a dumbass question.
Yeah.
Like literally, like there's this one guy that was like, "How do I shoot a music video?" And I was like, "What kind of music? Like what's the storyline? Like what kind of gear do you have? Like what the fuck kind of question is that?"
Right.
I was like, "Look on YouTube. Like don't ask me that question again." I literally like most of the time I'm really nice, but that guy was like I was so shocked by how stupid that question was. Sorry, dude, like, if you're watching this, but I went off on him. I was like, "That's such a disrespectful question to ask me." Like you obviously didn't research anything and you want me to do it for you. You can pay me to do it.
Right.
But there's this like other like group of people that were trying to like get me on a project and they didn't even have a script yet.
Right.
It's happened to like so many times where they're talking to me, they don't have money and they don't have a script even. And I'm like, what kind of project? Yeah, I mean, I can write it and produce it for you, but I'm not going to waste my time. Like, I'm not going to get my investors to pay for your movie. I'm going to get them to pay for my movie. Like, what are you even asking me right now? And plus, you don't even have a script for me to even read what the story is. Then why are you talking to me? And so I literally like tell them, come back to me when you have a script. Yeah. And like, they haven't. And then they say I ghosted them. Like, I literally gave you a requirement.
That's why a lot of times, like if anyone does talk to me about it, I'm like, how did you approach? Because you can't sit here and say that they're this kind of person when we don't know what, like, if I was there and I agreed that like she shouldn't have treated you like this, then yeah, I'll be like, okay, yeah, I've seen it. But if the situations where like, oh, I reached out to her, blah, 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 I'm like, well, I don't know what both sides of the coin look like. If I were to ask her about the situation, what would she say? Versus, okay, did the message accidentally get opened?
Right.
And it got lost in the flood because you caught her right in the middle of a huge project where there's 400 people messaging her at once.
A lot.
Like there's so many situational things that I'm just like, I'm sorry you had that experience. I haven't had that experience so far. It's been good for me. So, like, I won't let you taint what I have.
Right.
But if you do want to, I'm happy to use my connection and try to be a little bit of a middleman and be like, hey, there's this person that wants this, but it's also filtering out the wrong people.
What makes me feel bad is they then go and tell everyone that I ghosted them when I literally told them to come back to me with the script.
Right.
And so like that's another story that is now being pushed around everywhere that I'm not someone that's going to collaborate with anyone. And it's like, you want me to do your entire project for you, but you don't have a project to give me to do. And then when I do take on a project, most of the time they don't want to give up their idea of it. And like I've worked on a lot of projects, so I know exactly how it, like what it takes to make it. And I'm like, we can't afford a helicopter exploding in the air. We can't fucking afford a ginormous monster that's killing a Yeti. Like like literally for a CGI, it's like $40,000 a minute or something like that to have big monsters and shit like that. And so I'm like, okay, let's dumb it down a little bit, you know. But if you do want the monsters, then you need to make this amount of money in order to have this amount of minutes of this monster. And then they're like, oh, well, you know, they either want me to get the money, or when I say we have to take out 3 monsters, we can't have 4 monsters in each shot because it's going to be $100,000+ that you don't have. They're like, oh, well, you don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, okay, well, have fun, you know?
And it just sucks because, like, when shit like that does get spread, they don't realize the effect that it's actually having because, like, you, especially as a people pleaser, having other people that are coming and saying the shit to you when you have no control over it, it does fucking hurt.
It does a lot, actually.
I have people in the industry that say shit about me, and I'm like, I would love to work on this set, or I'd love to work with these people, but now I have to, like, not work with them because they're saying this.
I have a lot of people that I can't work with.
Yeah.
That I don't want to work with, because, like, the main thing that really upsets me all the time and gets to me a lot is, like, when people hear a new story or whatever, or an old story, they don't, people that I think are my friends or whatever, don't come to me to see my side of the story, and they just believe everyone else. And that happened to me on my Western movie, The Vast Lonesome, where we fired 2 of our people because they were awful and they stole money from us. And like, one of them went around telling everyone that we didn't pay her, and she stole more money than we owed her. And so we said, like, just keep what you stole from us, and, like, that's your payment. Yeah. Or if you want it to be a legitimate check written out to you, then give us back the money you stole, and then we'll give you less money in your paycheck. Like, just let it go. But for a long time, people believed her that we didn't pay. And I was like, we did 2 phases. We did one in October 2023 and then one in October 2024. And I was like, we hired over 100 people and they all came back for the second phase. So I was like, if we didn't pay our entire crew,
why would they come back?
Why would they come back? Yeah. So that really bothered me because she then made it personal by posting publicly about me, not just my production. God. And I was like, I will fucking end you. Like, you just said my name. So she's suing us right now. And I will show up to every court date. I will make sure that she does not win. I will make sure. Yeah. But I probably shouldn't be talking about that. But honestly, what really bothered me was, like, I got a bunch of phone calls from my friends, like, especially in Tucson, who they all love me in Tucson. And they're like, hey, we heard that you didn't pay, like, anyone. And I was like, thank you for calling me. Here's what actually happened. And then they started spreading what actually happened. And I heard recently that a bunch of my friends were on, like, bigger projects and stuff, and now my story is the story that's being told. And I was like, so there's
some justice in the story then.
Yeah, because, like, it hurts so much that people just believe what everyone else says. Right. I made a post just because I was so butthurt about it, you know, because this person was my friend beforehand and I gave her the job, and she, like, usually does it. She's not a head of department. And so I was like, hey, like, we can't really afford the good people. Yeah. So I can give you a head of department job, and, like, we're paying less, but, like, I want to give you this opportunity. Right. And she just fucked up the entire job. Not even just taking the money from us, but she just didn't show up. She didn't have anything done. She wouldn't, like, finish any of the, like, set design or anything. Like, we were like, hey, like, we want more stuff. And she's like, no, I'm done. And we're like, so me and the director would have to, like, set the set, you know, put props everywhere. For her. Yeah, like, every day, literally. And then she started stealing, like, props and stuff from us that we needed, and she wouldn't show up. So whatever. Anyways, but I forget what the point of that was. But mainly, it was really a win for me to finally get one of my stories changed. Yeah. But it was, like, so, like, hurtful that I gave her this opportunity and she fucked it up, and then not only fucked it up, then spread the word around that I fucking did that to her. And oh yeah, the post that I made was, there's a rumor out that this person is saying that we didn't pay her. And instead of saying what actually happened, I said we checked our accounting and she has been paid. Instead of saying she stole money and, like, she took more, I just said she's been paid. Yeah. The amount of money that we owed her has been given to her. She took it out of the ATM, literally. So, but then I said, I can't, like, you guys should know, since I'm such an advocate for paying everybody properly, and like I fight on Facebook all the time to, like, that there's like certain wages that they should pay people, and it's been years of me protecting everyone and getting people paid work and like raising the rates for all of us, that why would I on my first movie not pay somebody when I'm the huge advocate of paying everybody?
Right.
Like, how does that make any sense? And then I said, like, I said something like, I hope that, like, I have nothing against this person and I hope they have a successful future.
Yeah.
And she like screenshotted it and like spread my name all over the place. And I was like, all right, here we go. But it was just hurtful. Like, it still bothers me all the time because it's an active, like, I don't even know what you call it. Like, she's suing us right now. And so is this other person that we fired too. And it's just like, that's the thing too of like, there's always somebody that's going to tear us apart. And like, this is the biggest project I've done. It's such a big deal for me. And to have someone that was my friend, like, actively try to like tear my movie down was even more hurtful. And then when everyone believed her story, it was just like, there's nothing I can do about it. And like, but the same thing was like, it was such a big topic. Like, everyone knew about my movie. Everyone was talking about it in negative ways, you know, because they were probably jealous of it because it looks fucking cool. We had a great time. Everyone had a great time. We love, like, we're a family now, and it's going to be an amazing movie. One thing that I know is even if they're hating on it, they're going to watch it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And so you're going to give me money anyway. Like, bring it on. But yeah, that's this. It's been over and over and over and over again for over a decade of like anything that I do. I probably have at least 15 people that have something negative to say, and they either spread it around everywhere that I hear from my friends, or they say it right to my face.
So for you, going back to, I guess, originally like the depression and stuff, what does it look and feel like for you for the depression? Like, when you're in that, obviously I've seen a little bit of it with like sleeping a lot or not really eating. Like, I know for me, like this last time, like I didn't even know I was in depression until I saw what I was doing and how my behavior has changed.
Yeah.
And just because like I know myself around people, and I know how like my motivation is and how my drive usually is and stuff. And so like I've kind of had to be able to check myself externally and be like, what's going on, and then realize that like I'm in the depression. But I kind of want to know like what's going on in your, like, what kind of thoughts are happening, what feelings are you having when you are in a depression?
Honestly, I can't even tell you because my brain just jumbles everything together. And I'm like, if I'm not in a manic episode, I'm in a depressive episode. So like, literally, like I said in my first podcast, I'll have like a manic episode for like 3 days to a week. And then the rest of the month is I'm in depression. Like, there's no in between. I don't have normal days ever.
So there's no just like baseline then?
No, I have no baseline at all.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I guess the thoughts that I have are like, I know that I'm doing a lot of good, and I know I've done a lot of beautiful things, but I can't help but feel absolutely worthless and that I'm not doing anything for the future that I want, and like things aren't going well for me, and like even though they are, I'm like better off than a lot of people, and I should be grateful, you know, and I am grateful some days, you know, but it's mainly like I said earlier, like, why eat and like why get up? And something that used to, I'm gonna cry, something that used to help me get up is my cat. Is my cat.
Yeah.
So
that's okay. That's what this is for. This is what people can connect to.
So losing her was really fucking hard. Because she was my reason to get up. You know, I have to feed her. I have to feed my tortoise. You know, and so luckily I still have my tortoise, but she sleeps for like 4 months a year or two.
Yeah.
And like everyone's been telling me just to get another cat. It's like, yeah, that's a great idea, but like I can't yet. You know, can't just like replace her.
I know. It's hard when you do something like that, that the connection and stuff that is there, which that probably already I know that you were already kind of in a tough spot, and then having that happen.
Yeah. I haven't really obviously recovered from it. And I started like doing a bunch of not good things afterwards because it was like, whatever, life sucks and who cares, you know? And I haven't recovered from that either. I like still feel like, who cares? The universe like doesn't have my back right now, and like why do anything? And I have like most of it too is like when I'm trying to get through it is like I make all these like to-dos to distract me, and I work all the time. Like I'm a workaholic, and everyone says like I'm the busiest person they've seen in the industry out here, and that's probably true. Yeah. And so I work to get over it, but like when I'm just like laying in my bed looking at the to-do list, like, and I'm not able to get anything done because I can't focus on anything, and I don't.
Kind of compounds that useless effect, right?
Yeah, exactly. And then like when I have a manic episode, when I'm productive, I get like half of it done and I'm really happy. And then in my manic episode, I do something fucking stupid, like really horrifically stupid, and ruin my life somehow for a little bit. I just go straight back into the depressive episode, and then I put more to-do things on my list, and then it's just this never-ending thing of like I'm not getting anything done and I'm failing everyone, you know.
If you were to paint a picture for somebody of what, like, if this depression were a person, what would they look like? How would they act? How would they, like, can you describe that kind of like person or being to me, whether it's a person or a creature?
I would say someone like rotting in bed, like not even getting up at all, and like not like literally somebody that you would have to pick up and put in the sun. You know, there's nothing that they want to do. They probably watch TV over and over again. Like something that I do is rewatch the same shows over and over again because I already know what's gonna happen, and I don't have to like focus on it. But I like it's a comfort thing for me, and so like whenever I just feel like not ending everything, but like just not doing anything anymore, I just put those on because I know it's just gonna be like something I know, and I know that it's gonna be there for me, you know. I don't know what to say besides that. Like just some like it's hard to describe that, but like just think of somebody like melting into their bed because they don't want to get up, they don't want to eat, they don't want to sleep. Like that's me, at least, you know. And I used to like literally not be able to get up at all for 3 weeks, but I have gotten through that, mainly because I have like things that I love doing, like this podcast, you know, and you help a lot. Like there's been so many days where you're like, I'm coming over to work on this stuff, and like you get here and I wake up and I'm like, I do not want you to be here right now.
Yeah, I know. I'm aware.
Yeah, I know, but I still get up and I like we give each other a hug to like decompress because you've been having some issues recently too. Yeah. And then I'm like hungover and shit from like the things that I'm doing since my cat died. And it sucks. Like I'm hungover right now from it. It's not good and I need to stop, but it's hard to stop because I just don't care about anything right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I get through it because you show up and call me over and over and knock on my door. So maybe if you weren't around, I would just rot in my bed all the time because who cares?
Which it's still hard for me too.
Yeah.
And
You're a lot stronger than I am.
well, it's not that I'm stronger than you. It's
Yeah.
the fact that from a very early age, I've had this image of what I need the life to look like. And I've had a refusal to, like, there was no plan B for it.
Yeah.
There was only this plan of success, this plan of setting myself up. Like, there is no what if it doesn't happen.
Mhm.
It has to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's been one of my, like, gifts, I guess you could say, is just like I'm good at catching myself on, yes, I want, like, even like last week I've been slacking so much, sleeping in a lot more than I should, just because like I'll wake up at a decent time and I'll like let my dog out and stuff, and that kind of helps. But the only thing I want to fucking do is sleep. The only thing I want to do is crawl back into my bed and then just sleep. But then I wake up later and then realize that, like, fuck, now the day is partially over.
100%.
I can't really do much. But there's also that initial, I guess, it's like a provider mentality that, like, I can't give in, because if I give in, I'm going to be so far gone, there's no coming back.
Yeah.
And it's a situation that, like, I can't let myself slip far enough to where there's no return.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds like strength in itself, but to me, it's just the fact of I've seen what I don't want to become, and I can't let myself do that because I'm almost afraid of myself if that were to happen.
Yeah.
And
I guess right now I'm teetering on the edge. But like, again, like I have the same thing as you. Is like I have a huge plan for my life and it's going to happen. And that goes back to when I was first starting, like people were telling me that I like need to be lesser, and like who do I think I am that I'm going to gain any of this stuff? And like for me, it's like that's my normal life. Like,
well, that's why a lot of people have tried to calm me down in a way that's like, oh, like, how old are you? You're only 26. Like, you have so much time, blah, blah, blah.
I've said that too.
Yeah. But for me, it's, I've always, I guess, quote unquote, gotten off on, I don't want to be the fucking average. I don't want to be every other guy. I don't want to be in my late 30s, late 40s, late 50s when I finally come into the money, when I finally am able to do this.
Yeah.
I want to be like, I know at that point, I'm gonna be like, yeah, damn. Like, if I knew that this is all it took, I would have sacrificed 2 or 3 years in the younger years and did what it took to get to here so I can actually enjoy it. That because
you can't regret what you didn't know.
I know, and that's a part that I do kind of have to realize. But I also, there's a part of me that's like, I'm more okay if I know I'm doing everything in my control to do it.
Yeah.
If I know that there are some things I'm not doing and I am lacking in certain things, that's where those thoughts come in of like, you're being a lazy piece of shit right now and someone's outworking you, and this is why you're not going to be successful.
Well, that's why what I mean by when I say that to you is like, it's not happening right now because you need to develop more. Like, for example, I have this movie that it's huge. Like, it's probably going to be like $75 million budget.
Yeah.
And probably more than that, to be honest. And I've had it written for 10 years, and I've known that I'm not ready to develop it yet, even though I have it, you know, because I don't have the people, the investors that are going to give me $75 million. I don't have like a huge team that I can hire. Like, yeah, I can try, but it's not going to be the best movie because I haven't lived through enough yet to be the person that is going to make that movie, you know?
And I try to combat the thoughts and feelings with similar stuff to that. It's just, I'll go on and see people in much better positions and see the kind of lifestyles they're able to live. And obviously, like, I do believe everything happens for a reason. So there's a reason I'm going through the stuff I'm going through. But it translates to so many other things, like in the love life department. Like, do I want to find a partner right now who I can have that life I dream about and desire with? Yes, absolutely. But I know that if I were to meet that person right now, I'm not in the position to be worthy of that person. Right. Not to say like anything bad about myself, but I'm not at that king level yet to deserve something like that. And it's just like a constant thing of like, I'm 26. I set certain goals for myself when I was younger. I said that by the time I'm 26, I'm going to be doing my first 6 figures. And by the time I'm 28, I'm going to be making my first 7 figures. Yeah. It wasn't about the money for me. It was about the fact of building something. I've always been that kind of person that loves to build something. And it makes it to where it's hard to be present and appreciative of the stuff that you have right now. It makes it to where you're always trying to reach the next goal, always trying to reach, and like what you have now isn't good enough. And while there is some instances where that's good, like I do appreciate that in some aspects to where like it makes it to where I'm not content with what I have. Yeah. And I am striving for more, which I love to do. But at the same time, I'm not appreciative of the present and appreciative of what I do have. Like, I love doing this, but I'm always still trying to, like, I always compare, like, okay, how are our views versus the views on other podcasts? Yeah. Or even if we do have more people in person coming up to us and telling us about the effects of it, I'm like, okay, well, we still only have a few hundred followers. So where's the trophy? Like, the trophy is what I'm chasing, but I don't see that trophy. And
it's hard to live through that, you know? Yeah. Because, like, of course we have goals and we want to do it as young as possible and stuff. And, like,
well, it also goes back to a thing that I was kind of mentioning to you earlier with the fact of I have a very certain life that I want to be able to provide my future family. Yeah. I don't want them to have a life that I had growing up. And Mom, if you're listening to this, I've already told you, like, I know you did the best that you could with what you had, and I love you for that. But there were a lot of aspects that I would not want to repeat with my future family. Yeah. And the way that society is, the way that in the world that we live in, things are a lot different than they were 100 years ago. Mm-hmm. But I feel like the biology is still there in the sense that men are still biologically looked at as like the provider, the person that's supposed to be like the breadwinner, taking care of the family. The woman is supposed to be the nurturer and the one that's doing that kind of stuff. And I love the fact that we have women in such powerful positions and stuff and getting more equal benefits and pay and all that. The only thing that kind of like on the opposite side of the spectrum, and it's not to say at all that I don't agree with all that. I do believe that like I don't believe that I should get paid more than you for the same job at all. Mm-hmm. But it makes it to where like I feel like there's still some sort of mentality for women that they're still trying to chase that person that can provide for them, that can provide them that security. But at that time, now you're already a big fish trying to go after a much larger fish. And the only way that like we're going to be able to catch your attention is if somehow we're larger in that aspect. Yeah. And on average, that's not a thing. On average, like there aren't a lot of people that are bigger. Like if you're already a massive CEO, if you're already a person that's making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month, and you're trying to find someone bigger than that, your dating pool just shrank so much. The amount of men that are probably making more than you, that's such already a minute number. Right. But also the fact that like men typically are going for women below them in that aspect. They're not going for the like that's a pride thing with a lot of men. Something I know that you deal with. Yeah. With like the fact that like I don't know very many men that are willing to suck up their pride enough to be with a woman that makes more than them. Yeah, I deal with that all the time. With the way that society looks at them. Yeah. It's always a stigma of like, you have to be making somehow more than them or at least as much of them because that's the way the society looks at us. Yeah. They look at us like, you're the man. They like, I don't care if you're a female and the CEO of Amazon now and you're a trillionaire. Right. If you're married to a man, we expect that man to somehow be the CEO of 2 Amazons and a double trillionaire and able to like do that, and that makes it harder for me because I'm like, okay, well, I want to be at this certain position, and I know like the only way that I can get the life that I want is by having these accomplishments.
Mm-hmm.
The way that I can meet that woman that I could have that life with and do all that with is by living this lifestyle.
Right.
And so I know that there's A through Z steps to do.
Right.
But then it starts getting down on me because like I'm not good at hearing no. I'm not good at the failures. I'm not good at all that. It fucking hurts. It fucking sucks.
I know. On my side of that though is like that is something I struggle with. Like even on my level, like I'm not making like millions a year yet, but I do make quite a bit. Like not that much, but like more than most people. And like where's the fairness of like what if you met someone that you absolutely love and she makes more than you? Like you have this feeling.
Well, for me, I don't have that pride. Like that's one of the things for me. I don't have the specific pride of I need to make sure I'm making more than you.
Yeah.
I want to make sure I can support us.
Yeah.
Like, I want to be making enough to where we're not struggling.
Yeah,
but if you're doing your own thing and you're making your own money, I'm so happy for you.
Yeah.
You're able to do all this. And like in my future marriage, there is no my money, your money type of thing. There's kind of our money.
Yeah.
And obviously like we can work out the details later on that.
I'm going to be the complete opposite. I'm going to be like, we have separate bank accounts and then we have like a savings account and then we have like a combined checking account that we put money into both.
Well, yeah, and maybe like, that's how I say that now, but I don't know how it's gonna look later.
Prenup. Honestly, you're not gonna take shit from me.
But it's one of those things that like I'm not gonna not be with a woman because like if I'm my own CEO and I make a good amount of money and I just so happen to find a woman who's like, oh, I make a little bit more than you, is that a problem? Like, no, like I can like as long as I can still provide the lifestyle that you want, that I want and stuff.
Do you think you're gonna actually feel that way, or are you gonna feel like lesser because you have this mentality if you want to be the provider?
I think it depends on both of our mentality. Like most of the women that I've been with, even now, have all made more than me. But the reason that's why I can say that is because like I know they make more than me. But like if we're going out, I'm paying. If we're doing this, I'm paying.
Right.
Like, their money is their money. Like if I'm not there, obviously, like they don't need to ask me to Venmo them to get a cup of coffee. They can still do that themselves. Or if they want a new car or something, I'll be like, okay, well that's your thing. Obviously, like if I'm making a bunch of money and it's your birthday and you've always wanted this car, I'm gonna try to do
that's what I want, which is like super selfish or whatever. But like, of course, I want someone that can provide for me more than I can provide for them, just because like I've always been on my own, like since like I not left my family, but grew up, you know. And like one thing I do want is someone to buy me a car, like even though I don't need it, like I want that.
But that's a position, like I want to be in that position of being able to do that, but. That just goes to say, like, I'm not going to not be with somebody because they're like, hey, I make 50 grand more than you a year. Yeah. Or
what if they make millions more than you?
As long as I'm doing good myself.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't want to be in the position, like,
what if you don't need to?
This is just my own hyper independence with like I need to be able to support me and whoever I'm with.
Yeah.
That's just because that's the lifestyle I grew up in and that's just who I am.
Right.
I don't think I could ever be like a stay-at-home dad that's a breadwinner or that's not the breadwinner or something. Like I would need to be but that's just how it is. Like and obviously the bank accounts and stuff, that's for later down the line to talk about. But in general, as long as I can provide for what we need and still have a good lifestyle. Yeah. And obviously, like, if I have a wife, we've already had those conversations of where her money is going or what she's doing. Like, I grew up with the mindset of, like, I'm giving my wife the option to work. If she doesn't want to work, she doesn't have to. If she wants to, I'm not going to say, don't work. You have to do this. But the obligation I put for myself is I have to be able to provide for my family. Yeah. But that's where that whole feeling of like, I want to, it makes it to where I know that women have a similar mentality. I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
So that makes it so much harder for the dating field because like
Yeah.
if I can't already do that right now, how am I supposed to find somebody?
But what about the journey?
That's the thing is that's where the other side of the spectrum comes in. Is like, are you going to be able to find someone that's there for the journey for all that? But I feel like the mentality of this generation is no. Most of the women that I've met want to find that already established guy, that guy.
Because they're lazy.
Yeah.
Sorry, but you're lazy.
Men and women are both lazy.
Yeah, they are for sure.
I mean, the amount of men that I've seen that are in that position, like the patterns that I've seen is that girl wants to go for the established guy.
Yeah.
But she has no backing herself. She has no dreams, no aspirations.
Yeah, like stay-at-home moms, like.
Yeah.
Sorry,
well,
but
at least at that point, like you're taking care of a kid. But like the stay-at-home wife, that
I'm gonna be a full-time working mom, and like if you're no offense to stay-at-home moms, but like that's literally all you do. Really, there's nothing else to do. Like it doesn't make me less like of a good mom because I'm working all the time.
Yeah,
that's what sucks about my situation and what like just bothers me so much is like. Yeah, I date down and they always get like really upset about me making more than them and whatever. But the main thing that they say to me all the time is that I'm going to be a bad mom because I'm going to be working all the time. And so literally.
I fucking hate that because I'm like, you don't know until you cross that bridge.
But I'm going to be an amazing mom. Like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. But the main thing I say to them, and it goes back to everyone saying that I'm like full of myself and like, bougie and whatever, but it's like I'm gonna be making enough money. Like I'm not gonna have a kid until I'm making enough money myself.
Same.
To like hire a traveling teacher and like fly my kids to like Italy for my movie and like I'll be on movies with like daycare and stuff and like they can come with me and they'll just get like homeschooled by a teacher, you know? And everyone's like, oh, like you're gonna have enough money to have a teacher. It's like, yeah, I'm going to. And they like try to like make me feel like shit that I'm like thinking I'm gonna have this. And I'm like, if you don't want that, then get the fuck out of my life, you know? Don't try to talk me down. Like I have like too high of goals and like it's ridiculous because that's gonna be my regular life. Like I've had like a really like well off life my entire life. And I'm so sick of downgrading myself to make other people feel better. Like, why are you going to take that away from me? Why don't you like want to celebrate that I can afford to fly my kids to Italy and have a private teacher, you know? And like, I tell people all the time that my kids are going to go to private school because I went to private school and like, why wouldn't I want the same thing for my kids? Like, because all the people that I know, no offense to anyone, who went to public school, like, either did a bunch of drugs. Sorry.
I didn't do a bunch of drugs, but I know where you're going with this.
Or
so I'm
like
raising my hand.
Had a lesser education.
Yeah.
Like a way lesser education. Like I went to public high school, and I literally could have skipped high school and gone straight to college because I got dumber in public school. Like it was so easy. I was so advanced with my public school or my private school that I was like, that's why I was doing everyone's classes. I was getting paid to do everyone's classes because I was already done with mine. Like it was ridiculously stupid. No offense like to anyone. Like not every public school is like this, you know?
Yeah.
But I am not going to put my kids in public school. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen.
I think that's just where a lot of the depression about that comes from, though.
Yeah.
Like, I know the kind of lifestyle, which means I know the kind of person that I'm trying to get, but I also know I'm not the kind of person right now that person wants.
Yeah.
So it's hard to accept, like, I have to refrain from trying to chase people right now until I'm at that level because I know that if I do, like, get into something right now or there is something that comes, I'm not, like, it's not the goal.
Yeah.
It's not to say like there's anything wrong with people I talk to now.
Yeah.
But I know that I'm not at the level right now that I need to be at to have that lifestyle, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to go for the less shiny object now, just because it has some shine, and forget about the possible shinier object. And I know how fucked up that sounds.
No, it's
but
totally
it's like
fine.
would rather work on myself enough to be willing to not have to go for something and then just be like in that position of like I'm in a position to where like I don't worry about finances. I don't worry, like I have my own house. I have this establishment and stuff. I could do that. And obviously if something naturally comes along and there is a woman that somehow matches all that, awesome.
Right.
It's just that's where that kind of comes from. I mentioned a little bit about my addiction.
Yeah.
I want to hear a little bit about yours.
I don't know if I can talk about that on here.
You don't have to go into like the specifics.
Well,
like,
how do I talk about it then?
Because I know that one, obviously, phone attention, social media.
Yeah.
Maybe slight substance
Yeah.
stuff. We won't say what substance or anything.
Yeah. There's a few of them.
Would you be comfortable saying that you're addicted to stuff?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I'm working on stopping it, and it's really difficult to stop. And I've been trying to wean off, but then something terrible will happen to me again, and I'll just start it again because it's like the same reaction to after my cat died is like,
yeah,
okay, literally like it's like I said on one of the podcasts was like, it can't get worse.
Yeah.
And then it does. And it just adds up and adds up. And so I know that my addiction that I have is not helping, obviously. But in my brain, it's like it does help me just get through it.
It's a good fix for in the moment.
Yeah. And like then I can't stop. And it's that same like, there's so many people hitting me up right now. It's just that same thing with the dopamine and the cortisol thing of like, I have to do it more to feel better. And then I crash and feel worse again. And so then I have to like do even more to feel better. And then in the middle ground of all that, something terrible happens to me again. And then I'm like, well, fuck it. And I just keep doing it like even more. And most of it is because I don't care for myself right now. Like, I really don't. And I'm not going to kill myself or anything. I'm just going to not stop my addiction.
And I just ask about that because of the fact that I feel like addiction is one of those things that's not really talked about a whole lot that everyone faces. Like, I don't know a single person that's not addicted to something.
Yeah.
And it is one of the hardest things to admit to.
Yeah.
But it's one of the most widely big things. Like,
yeah.
We're dopamine addicts.
Right.
We chase the dopamine. We chase that thing that's going to make us feel good. Like,
yeah.
Very few of us are easily having the ability to say no in that moment to something for a greater later, which is obviously like the goal.
Right. I mean, honestly, I know it's stupid to say, but I could stop if I wanted to. I did stop for a little bit, but it hurt really bad. So I do have to wean off of it. But my problem is that, like, I just cause so many terrible things to happen to myself that I then choose to keep doing it. And, like, addicts, like, say that all the time, right? Yeah. But I'm a lot stronger than that, and I know that about myself, but it's just the choice that I'm choosing every day to continue doing it and not wean myself off. Like, some people have asked me, like, if I should go to rehab, and I don't agree with rehab because I know so many people that have gone to rehab, and it's mainly just, like, putting yourself in a room full of drug addicts and shit, like terrible like people that are going through terrible things, and a lot of people make friends with them, and then they get out and they just start doing drugs and stuff with each other, you know?
I mean, I've never been to rehab, so I can't really...
I just don't like the religious aspect of it. Like, I'm not going to obey any of that shit. Like, especially the step where you have to apologize to people. They need to apologize to me. Like, I absolutely do not agree with that at all. Who do I need to apologize to? Yeah. Like, really, besides myself? Which...
I can see your point of view. I obviously do have a slightly different point of view for it.
Yeah.
Because the way that I grew up, like my father is a recovering alcoholic.
Yeah.
I grew up with going to AA meetings with him and stuff, and I just did a FaceTime call with him a couple of days ago, actually. And I was talking to him about, like, growing up, like in AA, they say the Lord's Prayer.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know the Lord's Prayer,
Look it up.
it's yeah.
Don't say it.
But I didn't really know what it meant. I thought it was just
Yeah.
like just words. Like he was like, yeah, do you remember saying the Pledge of Allegiance when you're a fucking first grader?
Yeah.
You don't know what you're fucking saying. You're just saying
Right.
words that are taught to you.
Yeah.
And it wasn't until later that I actually started absorbing the Lord's Prayer and stuff and started like, okay, I understand what you guys are saying now.
Right.
And so I kind of got to see a little bit, and AA is definitely not for everybody.
No. I mean, it's a situation where, like, if I don't believe in that,
Yeah.
then why the fuck am I going to listen to it?
Yeah.
Like, and for me, no offense, but I think it's a cult.
I mean,
Like,
it's
get out of here.
Yeah, I definitely. I mean, and it's not just AA out there. There's plenty of
Yeah.
recovery options.
Mhm.
Obviously, that's one of the most popular. And I've never been in AA. I've obviously been to the meetings, but I've
Yeah.
never like been a member of
Right.
AA or NA or anything like that.
I just feel like it's a situation where, like, people get so brainwashed that they have to go all the time in order to be okay. Like, if they
Yeah.
don't go, then they, like, go back down. And so, like, why? It's a different addiction. Like, I would rather have my addiction that I have right now than to join a cult where, like, all these people can't be good without going.
I mean, I do like certain aspects, like the concept of like having a sponsor in the form of like you have an accountability partner, someone that you
Yeah.
have to be accountable with. And
That's fine, but I can find one without going to that.
Yeah, which that's what I mean. Like there are aspects that are translatable to other things. It's just obviously that's one of like the guided things to like help like here's what you do, but there is other stuff. I mean, like having those accountability partners, finding alternative things. Like
Yeah.
I would rather see someone that's addicted to the gym and
Yeah.
stuff like that than addicted to drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
That's definitely a much better addiction.
Right.
But I mean, as far as like, I feel like everyone's different when it comes to recovery. Like I've
Yeah.
seen people that have been able to recover from addiction from things like hypnotism
Right.
or therapy or literally like, I feel like when it comes to addiction,
Mhm.
you just have to find the stem of where it's coming from.
Yeah.
And
I'm actually going to try. I said this in the last podcast, but I'm making a documentary right now about ketamine.
yeah,
And the science behind it. I don't know like all of the jargon or whatever, but they're using it to cure, like not cure bipolar, but to treat bipolar.
right.
And also like this girl that we were following her journey, we interviewed her, and part of her issues that she was having was addiction to substances. And she said by like the third round of taking the ketamine that she didn't want to do what she was doing anymore. It just like completely
Interesting.
cured a path. So like what the ketamine does is like when you're trying like therapy and stuff, you're literally trying to like frame your brain
Right.
and like put different pathways back to like being happier and stuff instead of going straight to the negative thoughts. And the ketamine actually paves through it like right away. It just like burns it right through. And so she like wasn't addicted anymore after her third session. And so I was like, I would rather try that
Yeah.
than go to rehab with a bunch of drug addicts and shit, listen to their stories. And like, honestly, I'm like, yeah, the definition of being an addict is technically what I am, but those people most likely will be a lot worse off than me. And so I will feel like I don't belong there. So like, why would I put myself in a situation like that?
Yeah.
And surround myself with people like that? And like, I grew up in high school, all of my friends did heroin. Literally.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Some of them are in prison. Some of them can never come to Arizona ever again. And like, I would pay their rent for them so that they wouldn't lose their homes. And I would take them to the hospital when they were withdrawing because they couldn't afford it or couldn't find it anymore. And it was awful, you know? And so like, I know that I'm nowhere near that at all. And so that like makes me believe that I'm not actually an addict. I'm just choosing to do it.
Well, I think there's levels of addiction.
Yeah.
Like there's
I mean, the definition is what I am.
like there could be minor addiction to it to where like
It's a minor one.
you definitely feel better with doing it and you would rather do it than not. And then there's like up to the level of dependency to where like if you don't do it, it could be lethal or it could like trigger something bad. So I don't think that like with addiction, that it's just one blanketed thing of like, oh, you're an addict, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
I think, and I believe that like the treatment for addiction should also depend on what level you're at, because if like, even with cigarette smokers, there's the level like maybe 1 cigarette a week and you just do it socially versus 12 cigarettes a day.
Right.
That's a completely different level. There's like one that's dependent on it that literally cannot, like they will freak the fuck out if they don't versus like.
So if I'm at 1 cigarette a day, why would I go to rehab? You know what I mean? That's like where I'm at in the situation.
Like the rehab thing, I think might be better for someone that might be at like the dependency thing, being around professional people that can like, if they are going through a withdrawal or something like that, they can help out. But if it is someone who, I don't want to say manageable, but has like addiction, there are other ways to combat it.
Yeah.
And I believe that, like, honestly, I feel like everyone is an addict in some way.
Right.
You were meant to chase dopamine. That's just the way that our brains are. Some people are worse than others. But I know that, like, that's where it can also trigger the depression stuff. And, I mean, I know that, like, this episode is supposed to be mostly about, like, depression and kind of made it a little bit about addiction. But I do think that they kind of go hand in hand a bit.
It's a huge thing.
Because like I feel like it's the opposite sides of the spectrum, like anxiety versus depression and addiction. Like when you're in the depressive episodes, you very much end up relying on the things you're addicted to try to pull you out. Because like for me, when I'm in my depressive episodes, I sleep way longer. My appetite goes down. I know like that's how I typically know that I'm in it. And like I know what I'm supposed to do, but I have this weird like paralysis.
Yeah, me too.
Like I know what I'm supposed to do, but I can't.
Right.
All I can do is do the one thing that's giving me a little bit of dopamine, which is maybe like watching some videos on my phone or something, or watching a show, or like I can't handle the possible cortisol release or the possible stress release from doing something I can't enjoy in that moment.
Yeah, exactly.
And it gets to a point of like that voice, like it's a weird voice that comes in and basically is just like overly seductive in that point of like, you know, this is what's going to make you feel good right now, because there's, at least for me, like in my depression, there is a constant, like, I don't want to say physical voice, like I'm not like hearing stuff, but there's like that feeling of like, I'm not doing enough. I'm not enough for this person. I'm not worthy enough. Like a constant belittling of myself, devaluing myself and my abilities. And like a lot of times that's one of the reasons why I start to isolate. Right. Like I purposely isolate when I'm in my depressive episodes, because like I'm afraid almost of what I'll say in those depressive episodes, because it's a different person. Yeah. I won't talk to certain people, or I will wait a couple of days if I'm in those depressive episodes, because I know it's not me talking to them. I know it's another version of me that I don't identify with. Right.
I have to do that too. Because I am technically like a leader out here. And I don't want to show people my weakness. Yeah. Because it'll freak them out that if I'm doing bad, that like they're probably doing worse. Just to, like in the career area, right? Necessarily, but like, this podcast changed that, because like I went the first episode, I fucking told everyone all of my secrets. Basically,
how did that change things?
Well, people like have told me that they look at me differently now, which like I kind of wanted, you know, because I wanted people to know my story. But and I don't think it's
bad different.
No, it's not a bad different, but it was just a situation of like, it shocked people. Yeah. And like that was the point, but again, like something, it was so hard to post that. It was so hard.
I know how hard. Like
to post that.
It's hard for me to post things like this to where I'm talking about this. But
I know. But I know it's good for everyone else
we
too.
do it because all those people that look up to you in those
I know.
ways, they like, I don't want to say idolize you,
Yeah.
but they look. As we've heard from like Nicole and stuff,
Yeah.
they look at you in a certain way at first, almost
Yeah.
as like a Superman type of thing.
Yeah.
But almost as I think it's like almost an unreachable thing. They look
Right.
at you as this thing that's like they can't relate to, they look
Yeah.
up to but can't relate to, versus
Yeah.
when you're vulnerable and you're able to show that part of yourself,
Yeah.
now they can relate.
I
Now
know.
they can look at you and be like, okay, now I feel related and connected to
Yeah.
you rather than just looking up to you.
Right. And I think that's definitely what's happened. Like, I even got a text earlier today from someone that I haven't talked to in a really long time. And they
Mhm.
said that, like, their wife watched my podcast and, like, they just got diagnosed with bipolar 6 months ago. And, like, they want to talk to me about it because they're still trying to figure it out. And
Yeah.
I was like, that's really cool. You know, like,
Right.
I opened a conversation towards bipolar specifically, but like all of the people, like I was talking about earlier, like so many people have come out to me about their traumas and stuff, and it's just me dropping that first episode has made it so that everyone else can like get their stories out and like not
Yeah.
really be holed up within themselves, you know.
Yeah.
So I get that it's a good thing.
I know stuff like depression and addiction and stuff. It's especially hard to talk about in the moment. The last thing we want to do is come on camera and talk about this, but I do think that it is something that is important that
Yeah.
a lot of people can relate to, and
Yeah.
that is something that needs to be talked about a little bit more, especially when people do potentially look up to you,
Yeah.
when people do look at you in a certain way,
Yeah.
which is why like I wanted to talk about this today, because I'm like, we're both in depressive episodes,
Right.
and like I know obviously I don't seem like, I know I seem super like energetic and stuff,
Yeah, but you're an actor.
but yeah,
You
I'm
should have
used
seen
to-
us earlier. Like he came in and like I just walked up to him. We were just like
yeah.
let's just talk
Well, and
about
it's
this.
also depends. Like I feel like I absorb a lot of what's around me as well,
Mhm.
and like if I'm around other people that are like that,
Yeah.
it tears me down. But at the same time,
Sorry.
well, no, it tears me down in a way that like almost triggers me to start building back up a little bit.
Okay, that's good then.
And yeah,
Okay.
like I
Because you
know-
have to like save everyone else.
in a way,
Mhm.
yeah, like being able to come and give you a hug and stuff
Yeah.
is like my trigger of like, okay, let's start the building process. What can
Yeah.
we do?
Right.
It's hard. Like this is better for me than isolate. Like I know
Right.
isolation's not good,
Yeah.
but it's the one thing that I want to do.
Right.
I don't want to be around people and stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I shouldn't be around certain people.
Right.
Like I won't be around new people
Right.
when I'm in a depressive episode.
Oh, absolutely not.
But if it's people that I trust, people that I love, people that already pretty much know this about me,
Yeah.
I'm happy to be around them.
I can't do that. Like there's been so many times where people have reached out to me and wanted to hang out and like, or I've done something stupid in front of them
Yeah.
and then I will not talk to them at all. Like they're like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And then I just literally, it's like, do not speak to them at all for weeks and like, well, sometimes months. And then like the only time that they do get to see me again is at work.
Yeah.
And then like they're like, "Hey, are you okay?" And I'm still like recovering from the stupid shit I've done.
Right.
And it's like the only time I feel good enough is when I'm working. And so like when people see me smiling and shit, it's because I'm at work. Like, and then I come
I'm
home.
the same way.
I
I'm
come home
such
and
a
I'm
fucking
not-
workaholic.
Yeah.
But it also is because like I'm a productivity addict.
Yeah.
Like obviously I'll take breaks and stuff here and there, but like I don't remember the last time I took a full break from everything work-wise. But
Oh,
at the same
100%.
time, it's because I've also been able to turn some of the stuff like this I consider work.
Yeah.
Not
It is
all my work
It's a lot of
pays
work. Yeah.
But
A lot of my work doesn't pay me either.
yeah.
Oh my God. You have no idea how much shit I do for free. Like all my the nonprofits that I'm
Yeah.
a part of. And like, you guys have no idea. Like I literally meet with the governor of Arizona, the mayor of Phoenix, the Phoenix Police Department, ADOT, like on my own time. literally, to get the infrastructure of the film industry like built up, like in the ways of like, we need streets closed, we need police on set, like we need all this stuff, and we need a budget from the government to like fund all these things. And like I'm going and lobbying for the tax incentive and shit like that. Like that's what was so cool about like getting all that praise at the red carpet event.
Yeah.
Nobody actually knows that I do any of that stuff I just listed, but they do see like the podcast and like Arizona filmmakers and all this shit. So it was nice to finally hear that, but they still don't even know any of the shit that I do. And like that sucks for me too, because like I'm not doing it for praise or for anyone really to know. I actually do it secretly because I don't want people to know that I'm like doing this for everyone. And hey, I'm telling you guys now.
Well, and even like with the approval junkie stuff, like even with this podcast, like I've never had to share the spotlight with somebody. I've never had to, like my podcast that I had before this, it was my podcast.
Yeah.
And like even, I don't know, I've never had the issue with like partnering with somebody.
Yeah.
But like, I won't deny that like there has been times like when you're like my podcast and I'm like,
oh yeah,
we'll be like meeting someone and like I'll see all the attention going to you for it. And I'm like, and it's nothing against you. It's my own insecurities of like,
it's just because they know who I am.
And that's the thing that I have to get used to, at least until like I'm bigger myself.
Yeah.
But it's also like a thing that I'm not trying to take anything away from you.
Yeah.
I know that you are bigger but like for me what counts is what we discuss and what we talk about. Like we're partners on this. It's not your 100%. Podcast and I'm the co-host or I'm the person.
No,
you're the
we're both co-hosts.
Yeah.
You know.
And like that's what I care about. But like obviously like the ego and pride side of me is like, hey, like she's saying her podcast.
I'll change that. I only do it so that people care about it, you know?
Yeah. And it's not to say like I want you to change it.
Yeah.
But like I know that people are gonna wonder about that because I know a lot of people do think it is your podcast and it is your podcast.
Yeah.
But it is my podcast. But it's also one of those things that like it's that competition brain in me.
Right.
It's that approval part of me. It's that ego part of me that's like I'm trying to say like you don't need to change it.
Right.
It's my brain and the way that I think that needs to change and the way that like it doesn't matter the fucking titles.
Right.
None of that shit matters.
No, I don't care about it either.
For me, I don't care if I'm just known as the producer or something or whatever. Like me and you know our roles. Mm-hmm. And I know that like other podcasts are going to say like, oh no, we don't get like, you know, people care.
Right.
You know that the like secretly in their head, they're remembering like, I'm the one that came to you with this idea.
Right. Yeah.
Type of thing. Or,
yeah.
Like,
he did though, by the way. Like I just wanted my story out and like you made it possible. So thank you.
Well, and I appreciate that you're feeding into that ego part of me, a little, that pride part, but it is a thing that like, I couldn't do this without you.
Yeah.
You couldn't do this without me. Yeah. So we couldn't do this without each other.
Yeah.
And you pick up a lot of the slack that I don't even realize.
Yeah.
So I appreciate you for that. Like a lot of the shit, like we wouldn't have this shit without you.
Yeah.
Obviously there is some shit that we wouldn't have without me.
Yeah.
But like that like I said, it's a new thing even for me to do that. And
I did write an article where you were mentioned multiple times.
Yes, I did see the article and I was like, ah!
That magazine gets 38 million views a month. So I don't know if they're all like reading it, but hey.
I'm not complaining.
Yeah, I know. I'm still going to change it because honestly, like, it's mainly Facebook that I've said my podcast. Yeah. I think. And so I was just being lazy and didn't want to tag you.
Well, maybe this isn't even a conversation for the podcast.
Yeah. But you were talking about, like, what bothers you. And
it's not even that it bothers me and any of, like, the pride and stuff. It's just, like. It's that part of me that, like. I don't like I'm the approval junkie too. I'm the attention junkie. I'm the person's. Yeah. It's like I've mostly felt like that like when we're in person or something and it's that and then they look at me but they don't know anything until like I kind of squeeze myself in and kind of like I don't be like, hey, look at me, I'm the co-host. But I'm like, oh, when this happened, like, wait, you're a part of it too? And I'm
No,
like,
that can't be the case because, like, literally, like, everyone that talks to me, they, like, know you now because of the podcast.
well, that's the thing. I don't see that, though.
I know. I
You're the
try
one
to
that
tell
sees
you
that.
about it, though. I try to tell you.
You're the one that saw that. But, like,
Yeah.
my only interaction from
Yeah.
us being in person is people that have only seen you.
Yeah.
And so when
But
they
you
see,
were, like, the interviewer of me, though. So, like,
and I don't know if I just didn't see that.
yeah.
But that was where, like, it struck me. But immediately is when I caught myself and I'm like, you don't need to fucking say anything.
Right. Yeah.
Kayla knows what it is.
Yeah.
Kayla knows that, like, it's not going to be like a boy band to where one of them just goes solo. And,
Right.
like, I think that might be, like, a part of, like, the fear and stuff for me.
Right.
is,
How would
like,
I go solo? You're the
Well-
one that can, like, lead the podcast. I'm just sitting here, like, quiet half the time. Like, I can't
It's not
speak.
something that you can't learn.
Well, I know, but, like, you've had your podcast for, like, years, your other podcast, you know,
Well-
so you just know how to speak properly, and I'm shy as fuck. Like, I'm not going to
You think that I started that way? No, like, that's why I had to start the way I started.
Yeah.
Because I needed to put those reps in. I needed to become someone that can do that.
But there's no way that, like, I would get good and then be like, bye. You know?
Well, I don't know. I feel like there's just, like, that kind of prideful fear of,
Yeah.
like, something that we're both building. Like,
Right.
that I think that's part of, like, my own abandonment issues. Going back to,
Right.
like, our abandonment episode.
Yeah.
Is, like, that feeling of, like, somehow we're going to build this and you're going to go. But that's also just, like, the depression part of me saying that, like, I'm not good enough to
Yeah.
do this kind of thing. And there's also that, like, addiction part of me that's,
Right.
like, saying, like, you're getting the substance that I'm addicted to as well.
So
It's-
this is so funny to me because what I'm seeing is everyone is starting to get to know you now because I'm saying it's my podcast and then they're watching it and you're sitting next to me. And so they're like, who the fuck is this guy? And then also, like, you, like, I don't even know what I was going to say.
do you at all? Because in that instance, then it almost gets me worried on an instance of, like, do you feel like you're carrying me in a way?
No, I feel like we are being lifted up and, like,
Okay.
not carrying you at all, literally, but, like, using my tiny bit of fame to lift us up.
Yeah.
And I feel like at some point when this, like, goes viral or something and we, like, can finally make money and it's going to be as
Yeah.
big as we know it's going to be, you're going to be lifted up to my level,
Right.
you know?
Because, like, there's always that other part of me that's,
Yeah.
like,
I'm not carrying you at all.
Okay, 'cause
I don't feel
I
that.
have had that feeling of, like, is, like, obviously it's not the case, but, like, there's
Yeah.
that demon type of
Yeah.
voice that comes in. It's like, she's carrying you, bro. Like,
No.
this wouldn't get any of the view. Like, you've already started your own podcast and you've seen your own views. The only
Yeah.
reason why it's any bit of popular is because she's on it. But at the same time, like,
But that's the whole point is like getting, like, we're trying to get people with more following so that more people will
Yeah.
watch it. And so, like, it is beneficial, my following,
Yeah.
but it's not like a reason for you to feel lesser because it is helpful to us, you
Right.
know, and why not use it? And, like, we're partners. So,
well, I'm glad
like,
you don't feel like you're carrying me because
No.
that wasn't that. I'll be honest, that was a tiny bit of an insecurity
oh,
that
stop.
I've had a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, I know a lot of people might look from the outside and, like, see a person with, like, 1,300 followers that's
Yeah.
doing this and then seeing you and then, like, kind of questioning what's going on there.
Yeah.
But they also don't see the behind the scenes
Right.
of, like, I just don't focus on social media.
Yeah. So
I-
that's why I'm doing it. But you do
Yeah.
all the Spotify shit because I don't know anything about that.
Yeah. Like, there is, we do kind of equalize it out and stuff
Mhm.
with certain stuff, but it's also, like, most of the business logistical stuff is
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
area.
Yeah.
Most of the social media and exposure stuff is your area.
Yeah. I don't want to do any of that shit.
Because, like, I'm happy to take on the business meetings or talk
Yeah.
about the specific analytics and doing all that, which
yeah.
that's what people don't like, or even in, like, movies and stuff. Obviously, you have your connections, and people don't know my abilities as a producer.
Right.
But I come in, I'm like, I've owned a business for a little bit. I
Yeah.
know business owners and stuff, so I have my own connections. But I don't know.
Stop feeling that way because
I'm
this
not-
is the way that you're gonna get the following.
I know.
You know.
That's the thing. I'm not naturally a very secure person.
yeah.
I know people might see me and they might think I'm a confident, secure person.
Yeah.
I am far from that. I can carry myself in a way that I've learned to like display some confidence.
Yeah.
I've grown a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's definitely not like a big trait that I would say like,
Right.
oh, I'm a confident guy. I'm secure and all
I am
that.
not confident most of the time either, but like everyone sees me as this leader and
Yeah.
everyone looks up to me and stuff. And like I have to show up and like make speeches in front of hundreds of people and I'm like freaking out on the inside, you know, and I like screw it up and I'm like, oh God, that's
Yeah.
embarrassing. You know, cause like just because I have followers, which like half of them are probably fake anyways, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it's just like you never change. It's still you on the inside. So like no matter how many followers you get, you're still gonna be you. Like literally half the time, like the imposter syndrome I get, I'm like, why do people want to listen to me?
Right.
Like why the fuck do they care? Why do they ask me to do workshops? Why do the colleges want me to teach classes there? Like I'm not good yet.
Yeah.
Like who the fuck am I? So it's like, yeah, because I have like 18,000 followers or whatever. Doesn't mean shit. It makes me look cooler, you know, and I've done cool shit, but like I'm literally my job is to create beautiful images and beautiful videos. So why wouldn't my Instagram be fucking amazing? You know, that's my job.
It's kind of funny too, because like you don't even need those followers to get the opportunity. Like and it's not to like blow smoke up my ass, but like I've introduced you to opportunities that like you were like, I don't know how the fuck I'm here, and I look at you and I'm like, wait, what do you mean?
Yeah,
like you're not used to this. I'm like, I'm more used to this.
Yeah,
I've gone through like, I don't have a huge following, but I'm like, I'm networked enough to where I've been able to like we're at that gala and you're like,
whoa,
I was like,
that was wild.
For like you were like starstruck and I'm like,
there was literally the DA, like Joe Arpaio was there. There was like DAs from multiple freaking states. Like there's a bunch of like chiefs of police, chief of fire departments. I was like, these are all like the main guys of like every department.
That's funny because like when you were like almost starstruck there, I'm sitting there, I'm like, I've gotten used to kind of being around big status people.
No, that was like the richest like room I've ever been in my, like not in my life, but I was like, it's been a long time since I've been around that much money. Right. It was wild.
And I've felt that way too. And I'm like, I don't know how the fuck I'm here.
Yeah. And we were like not dressed like well enough. We were like, we are not, because we don't own shit like that. I know. Like, holy crap. They had like Birkin bags and shit. Like I'm not gonna look like them.
I know that it was not something that you probably really wanted to do with coming on and talking about, especially in the mentality. And especially in a mentality like that, the last thing you want to do is come on and talk about that. So I just want to say thank you for being honest and open. And I know like this is obviously our podcast and like this is what we're supposed to do. But it's not easy. Like what we're doing here, like
hurts.
Yes, it's just conversations and stuff.
It hurts.
But some of the shit we talk about is not fun to talk about. A lot of the vulnerable, like it's not
It
easy.
weighs on me so bad.
Like it's not easy or necessarily fun usually to do the shit that we do.
Yeah.
But the impact that we have is what keeps at least me going with it.
Yeah, that's the only reason.
Like it's not easy for me to be as vulnerable. I know it looks easy for me, but there's so many things that are happening in my brain that's like, stop.
Yeah,
what are you talking about? And I'm
like I didn't want to talk about my addiction. Like I can't talk about that, you know? It's ridiculous.
But that's the thing is like, obviously you can't talk about some stuff just for whatever, but there is a way to be vulnerable and open about it.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to emphasize because I know that you're not the only one. And that's why we struggle so much with the vulnerability.
Yeah.
We struggle because we feel alone.
Yeah.
We struggle to be open and like.
Yeah, because we want to hide it. We don't want people to know about it.
We don't want to be judged because if we get judged, we become the outcast, and that's against our biology. We don't want to be the outcast.
I did find out like a few of my friends that I thought were my friends are judging us like a motherfucker. And it hurt my feelings.
Well, and that's the thing is, with what we're doing, being in the public eye like this, we're going to get judgment, whether it's good or bad. That's one of the reasons why I was telling you, like with social media, post and run. Don't look at the comments. Don't look at all that because
I get like phone calls about it. Like,
well, and sometimes that shit's gonna happen
Yeah.
because people. It's easier to pull someone down than it is to push someone up.
yeah,
It's
I'm used to that.
it's easier for the negative, like, you know how easy it is to type a negative comment versus
know.
praising somebody and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
for some reason, it is that much harder to give praise than it is to put someone down.
I think it's like because I'm used to like random, like not strangers, but people that aren't really my friends, like
Yeah.
talking shit to me. I don't really care about that.
Yeah.
It's when it comes from my friends or people I thought were my friends.
Right.
That's
But
what hurts.
that's where you get to see the filter that wasn't there before, that
Yeah.
gets to determine whether or not they are a true friend.
Yeah.
Like, at first, there was no filter, but now you've built a filter that really is the determining factor of how
Yeah.
true of a friend they are for you.
Yeah. And that it's really like dwindling.
Yeah.
So that's another form of my depression and stuff is when I do get all these comments and calls and whatever that talk shit about anything
Yeah.
that I do is like, it's just never ending and it just weighs on me all the time.
Yeah.
But, you know.
Well, we've been going for a fat minute, so
How long?
we're already over 2 hours.
Oh, shit.
Well-
Our podcast is going to be 2 hours then.
Yep.
Oh, well.
Okay. Well,
I feel better.
yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, therapy, baby.
I do feel better because I was like dying
Oh,
before
I was
this.
too.
We were just like, oh my God.
Yeah.
But honestly, like, you guys should come on to the podcast because honestly,
Just be careful with the notes of telling us your full life story. Wait
Yeah.
for that conversation for either on the podcast
Yes,
or
please.
like let us know ahead of time of like, hey, do you have a minute to talk so that we
Yeah.
can do that? Like, and we're not licensed professionals. We're not actual therapists. We're
Yeah.
not.
Like, I had someone literally text me, like, can you fit me in on Tuesday? And I was like, I'm not a therapist,
Yeah,
you know?
like,
Don't say that.
What we're doing here, like, I know that I speak a lot of like facts or
Yeah.
research and stuff. But that's just because I like to do research on my own time. I don't know the complete validity of
Yeah.
everything that I research. Please fact check me
Yeah.
on everything that I say and do your own research into
Right.
what we say. We say this stuff on our own account based off our own experience,
Yeah,
based off
knowledge. My lack of knowledge.
of yeah. So that's a big thing. Like, we're not,
Yeah.
and I know some people might be against that. We've already been criticized for
Yeah.
that. But that's the thing is we're going to get criticism. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Yeah. He
So
doesn't care.
Yeah. I don't care. She doesn't care.
I'm trying to not care.
Yeah. Anyway, we love you guys. We'll
Yeah.
see you guys on the next therapy session.
Bye.